Hello and welcome to Church Chat. Every year in the diocese we are delighted and grateful for the number of priests who come from across various countries in Europe and Africa and Asia to help supply with the diocese. They bring with them a wealth of knowledge about their own cultures and the different sort of challenges they have for the Catholic faith in their own lands. So today we're delighted to welcome one of those priests, Father John Tata from Cameroon. Welcome, Father.
Thank you very much.
So is this the first time you've been in Scotland, Father?
This is not the first time I'm in Scotland. I've been coming to Scotland for the past 7 years. And I was studying in Rome for 5 years. And during that time, I spent the summers here in Scotland.
And you come from Cameroon yourself. What is the situation for Catholics in Cameroon?
I think the situation for Catholics in Cameroon at this particular moment, especially in our church province, is a very difficult situation because we are in a civil war. And the Christians, they find themselves being persecuted, or the leaders of the church, they are being persecuted because of the civil war. You know, standing for the truth is not always easy.
So, facing that grim scenario, why would young men still want to be a Catholic priest like yourself, for example? What is the situation in the seminaries? Is that affecting the seminaries?
I think for now, this situation has been just for 2 years now. But it has not affected the seminary adversely. Yeah, but we think that the young people, they go into the seminary because they want a purpose in life. They want something which is challenging to them in life. And so the life of a priest is a life of sacrifice. And so because of that spirit of sacrifice, young people are attracted to the priesthood because they want something which they could do, which is going to be challenging.
As you're seeing statistically, there's a mix of different religions as well. So there's a lot of pool, and there's Catholics, there's Protestants, there's Muslims, there's different other religions. How do they all pull together in Cameroon?
Yeah, there are different other religions in Cameroon because we have the Muslims, we have the Protestants, we also have the evangelicals, or what we call the Pentecostals, you know. But the atmosphere, I think that there is a lot of cooperation between the Christians, between the Christians. Even the Muslims, we don't have a lot of difficulties, especially in our ecclesiastical province. Maybe in the north of the country, there is the problem of Boko Haram, you know, which is, there are those radical Muslims who are coming in to fight against Western education. So there could be a problem there. But as for the coexistence between the Christians and the Muslim, there is really no great difficulty. And then also the Catholics and the other churches, I think that we cooperate very much in doing things together, trying to work together and render services to the people together.
So it's funny because in our country we do not hear a lot about Cameroon aside from the very successful football team that you have.
Yes.
So these difficulties like the civil war and these problems, they don't feature much. So it's very good to have that kind of experience and that knowledge in the diocese. And we're glad we have priests like yourself coming through. Do you think there's going to be more priests from Cameroon serving in Scotland and Ireland and the islands?
Yeah, I think that we may eventually have more priests who may come out from Cameroon to the missions. You know, the mission of the church is universal. And the documents of the church encourage us that we should have that missionary spirit to be ready to go out, not only to work within our own country, but to work in the universal church. And so I work in the seminary as a formator in the seminary. I'm a spiritual director in the seminary in St. Thomas Aquinas' Major Seminary in Bambui, Bamenda, Cameroon. And that is where I studied. And the numbers have been growing up from the time we're studying. At the moment, last year, we finished up with about 148 candidates for the priesthood. And our seminary is open. It's almost international because we have students who come from Central African Republic, and we also have religious who are studying with us. We have the Franciscans, we have the Conceptionists who are studying with us. And so that 148, that is just the theology department, because we have now, that was originally it was one seminary, but it was split into two. Right. The philosophy department and then the theology department. So the philosophy department is in another diocese called the Diocese of Mamfi, right, but it's still found in the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda. And so with that, the philosophy department had about 205 students.
You're talking about the high number of candidates for the priesthood in across these nations, Central African Republic, Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, compared to Scotland, we've got 20, Ireland's got 6, which is an all-time low.
Yeah.
What do you think the secret is in Africa and these nations that are attracting so many men to?
I think that what is attracting the young men, as I said, is the fact that the priestly life calls for sacrifice, for the spirit of sacrifice. And the young people, they have something within them that they want something which is challenging. Okay, like you find young people who want to go to climb mountains, because they want something which is challenging to them. And so the priesthood, because in our country and maybe all over Africa, there is still that challenging part of the priesthood, the spirit of sacrifice. That's what really attracts the young people to the seminary.
So what attracted yourself to the priesthood?
What attracted me to the priesthood was that when I was growing up, I had missionaries who were in my parish, and with those missionaries, I was really attracted. I just felt like that I wanted to be like them. Yeah. And one of the things is, it may be very, very funny to you, but one of the things which I wanted to do was that the minor seminary, which is like a high school, was found in another part of another province, another region, far from home. And my mother used to ask me when I come back from school to go to the farm. So I wanted to go far from home so that I would not have to go to the farm with her. And eventually, but there was something which was inside me that God used that in order to bring me to the priesthood, wanting to escape from home. And so I eventually went to the minor seminary. And from there, gradually, that seed which God had planted in me started growing. But it was from a trivial fact that I wanted to escape from home because I didn't want to go to the farm with my mother. Yeah. And then eventually, I got my vocation.
Well, thank God for that as well.
Yeah.
So you're leaving Scotland in mid-September sometime, your placement ends?
Yes.
And where do you go after that?
I'll go back to my country. I'll go back to the seminary because we're supposed to reopen on the 21st of September. But unfortunately, the elections will take place in our country on the 7th of October. And because of the civil war, the country is very, very unstable. So the bishops of our ecclesiastical province, they had a meeting last week, and they decided that the seminary should reopen on the 12th of October after the elections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the best for that, and thank you very much for your service in the diocese this year. Again, the 7th year in a row. We hope you come back for an 8th year as well. And great to see you.
If the diocese invites me, I will come. Thank you.
Let's hope so. Thanks very much.
Okay, you're welcome.